My
Okay.
cam's over there.
I clicked on the button. We're live.
What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're doing a round 4 DFS Showdown targets for the 2021 WGC Workday Championship. Craig, I was just looking at our show from yesterday, and my picks were like fine, but I think the best part of the show was me saying, I am not playing Cam Smith. How do you feel about that one today?
Well, I mean, first off, two of my picks were pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Cam Smith, he
Rory,
just killed me. I had a great showdown pool, and I came out with with 20% positive ROI. But man, I just got held back. I had like I want to say 40% or 50% Cam Smith. So I had one finish in the 200 ranges in GPPs that still had freaking Cam Smith and his +5 or whatever it ended up being. So yeah, it's a struggle. But whatever.
hey man, Rory put my teams on his back, so I did that late round captain mode. I threw Rory in as a captain. He put the team on his
I was a
back. He
little
he
worried
got
he had
me.
an early double when he caught that lip and put it in the drink. I was a little bit worried, but
Yeah,
he turned it around and got things going.
that's the thing with those superstar elite players is even with the early double, they can get you 50, 60 showdown points
Yeah.
because they just can rattle off these birdies in the big time. What's going on, everyone in the chat? God, you got that big craft beer. That's what I got as well over here. The 500 milliliters. I don't know if you guys do that. If you do ounces in the States, but now
It's
I'm
all
on a
about the
tangent.
fluid ounces, I think.
Yeah. Barry, I love that core. Sounds like it's great for you. What else do we
Well, I
what
mean,
else are we chatting
the
here?
leaderboard. Colin Morikawa is winning the golf
Yeah.
tournament right now. Looked like Brooks was going to fall off, but he scraped his way to a 2 under par day.
So I think Morikawa at one point was how far ahead was he at one
He
point in
was
the day? Like
five
four,
strokes, I think, at
five.
one point.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, there's scoring holes out there, so it was hard to think that it was going to stay that big. But this is an
He's clearly the
awesome
favorite.
leaderboard.
It's an awesome leaderboard. He's clearly the favorite. These guys can go in any direction so quickly. Where would you say that these chasers have a legit chance? Like, would you go as far down as 9 or
So
maybe just
that
10?
totally, I would say you could go as far down as 9, but that's only if Morikawa fall, like if he makes
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
If not, I really think you're looking at 11, 12. Like if he goes out there and shoots a 67, 68, it's going to be hard for people to come from too far back. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's totally dependent
But
on him.
will he play more conservative? Like, what will his game plan be? It usually doesn't change, but who knows? He could be more conservative if people are trying to attack him, and it's hard to attack on the
What
scores.
the thing is, I don't think you can be too conservative on this course. Like essentially, you have to try to hit it to the right spots on the greens,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
uh, because they fall off so quickly. Yes, obviously you can be more conservative, and you can push it when you do want to get it, put it in tight, but closer to one of these areas where it falls off. But I don't know. From what we've seen from him in his ball striking, I think he's, unless something catastrophic happens, I think he's in the driver's seat.
Yeah. The
That's a
other
pretty
one that,
obvious statement, though, I think.
yeah, we didn't mention it at all, I think, yesterday, but he found his way into one of my lineups was Kisner. Posted an 80 today, like
Yeah.
7 showdown points. Absolutely. Like, you can go so far back so quickly on this course. It's super entertaining. Is there anyone on this kind of
The only
first
thing,
column of
sorry,
that
just real
sheet?
quick. The only
Yeah, yeah,
thing
yeah.
worse today than watching Cam Smith pull his drive into the water. So I was telling you, me and my wife got a new car,
Yeah.
and so we have neither of us have ever had a brand new car before. The thing had 9 kilometers on the odometer. Pull out of the dealership,
What's gonna happen?
like
What?
300 meters on the highway, and a rock chip right into the windshield.
Are you kidding me?
Dead serious. It doesn't like there's a little fleck. It doesn't look like it's gonna be a full crack, but it's just like I'm just like, oh, this is almost as bad as Cam Smith. I don't even know what's worse.
I don't know how to take that. Is that like a bad omen? Is that like,
No, there's
is that
nothing to
card
take beyond
jinxed?
this fact. It just sucks that. So if you guys don't know, here in Canada, they throw gravel and sand down on the road all winter because it's the only way to keep traction. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, we haven't swept our streets here. We're still in winter sand on the road, and
Yeah.
just a bad break.
Yeah, man, that sucks.
Sorry,
That
that's a
is that is
tangent.
really a tangent. That is a tangent. Hey, that's kind of how the day went. Hey,
Yeah.
just good, and then bad
Yeah, just
right
a little
away.
little dash of bad sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll uh,
Um,
we'll be talking about a bunch of these guys still. Do we want to
yeah,
keep
sure.
moving?
Let's move along. Scoring averages for the first 3 rounds, just under 1.11 in round two. 0.88 are picks, despite Cam Smith. We're still 1.33 under. So,
Man, if it
again,
wasn't
Craig,
for
keep
him,
up.
that'd be a very nice average.
That would be great for a lot of these. Obviously, looking ahead to round four, the finishing position. So, when you look at that, like how low can these guys go tomorrow? These are the low rounds through the first 3 rounds. So we've had a 6 under twice in round one, 8 under twice in round two, and a 6 under 3 times.
Mhm.
So you have to think the best score out there tomorrow is probably a 6.
Yeah,
So if you want guys to move, say, so if we go back quickly, looking at the leaderboard, say a top five is a minus 12, then maybe you're okay, maybe -6, maybe kind of the Max Homa can get into that top five. These guys don't fall back that much.
yeah. I mean, I don't even look at it that way. So I mean, I just have a different approach. If a guy's going out there and shooting 6 under, it doesn't matter where he starts. He's going to be a good showdown play. So uh,
Yeah.
ultimately, how far down the list should you target? That I mean, that just is you're going to balance ownership and what you expect ownership to be versus their chances of doing something special like that and going out there and putting up a round. So.
For
Um,
sure.
I just don't. Yes, I do. Obviously, you want people who are higher, but then that's offset by the fact their ownership's going to be higher. So it's just a matter of making sure you're not taking only guys who are going to be 10, 15,
Yeah.
20% owned or higher. You need to have
Yeah.
those guys with a few of those guys that are 4 or 5%.
Yeah. What's up to everybody joining late, Myron? I love that. The Puerto Rico, I think, is helping a lot of us this week. And I don't know exactly how to say it. It's Baracho. That sucks, man. I hope
Yeah,
there's no injuries or lingering health, anything from that, because that is the worst. Craig can't complain about his small chip
my
anymore.
rock chip does not seem so devastated anymore.
Yeah. Before we get into it, I kind of just reiterating what we said yesterday. We're not going to talk about, I mean, spoilers alert, but we're not going to talk about the guys up top. We're not going to talk about Morikawa. Like, if you want to play those guys, there's good
I'll be
reason to,
playing
obviously.
them.
Yeah, me too.
It's just a matter of like they're fairly obvious plays. There's a reason they're going to be 35,
Yeah,
40% owned is because everyone wants a piece of them. It's just a matter of who do you play with them.
yeah. You don't need to come up here, listen to us, and say play Morikawa like that.
Yeah.
That is your own
And
call, and
I'm
that's a
not
good
going to play
point.
him everywhere. I'm going to have lineups
Yeah,
with him, and I'm going
exactly.
to have lineups without him. It's going to be the other guys I pair with him or don't that are going to make the difference.
Yeah, and I think kind of the theme of this show is pivots. Where do we find the pivots for round four?
Yeah,
Fair to say?
yeah. I have my own separate theme for my picks, but I'll get into
Oh
that in
yeah,
a
you do have
second.
your own
Yeah.
separate theme. One thing I wanted to point out with this is the weather. The wind is picking up.
Hmm.
Probably the best defense that can really get scores high here. So looking at the tee time, so 11:10 in the morning is the Hatton Griffin group at 3 under. So that group at 3 under. So you're looking there at 11. It starts to get a little bit better. At noon is the Sungjae Im Kevin Na group at 5 under.
Okay. And
So,
so
so if you
really, I
want to
think the
avoid,
one thing it really hits is those people lowest down in the field, which are your
yeah,
potential pivot play long shot, 2%, 3% owned. So
it's going to be
I might
hard to
still
find that.
find, roster one guy or one guy lineup from down there, but I'm going to go a
Yeah.
little bit chalkier than normal and just try to figure out where I can find some low owned
Yeah, I
edges.
don't know if I'm going to go much beyond like 35th and higher, like placed right now. I don't know if I'll get there.
Yeah.
I think there's ways to be different elsewhere.
Yeah. I've always found ways to be different in life, so I
I know
won't
you
stop
have.
now. Good to go. Jump into them.
Let's do it. Subscribe to your channel if you have not yet already. Hit that thumbs up. Comment below. Craig, should we do? We'll do it outright at the end, but comment below who you think the winner is winning score.
Yeah, winner score.
Yeah.
Okay, good to go.
Yeah. So my guy up top that I want to talk about, Patrick Reed, 9,200 on DraftKings, 68, 68, 69. He's 11 under. So why do I think he is kind of a pivot? So we got Brooks at 94, we have Webb at 93, and we have Morikawa at 91. I know Reed is going to be highly owned. I know he's going to be kind of chalky, but there's that big group there. So if I'm playing just one or two of those, I think like people might just get three or four or two or three. Of that group, I really like Patrick Reed. He's been great with his putter. He's been great on approach. He's been great off the tee. Around the greens, though, he's just making silly mistakes. He made a mess of 13 today with a double bogey. But this is probably the best around the greens player in the world. He ranks first over the past 3 months with 0.78. So there's no reason, looking at this as his weakness through 3 rounds, he can absolutely turn that around tomorrow. One of 3 players with all 3 scores in the 60s. I love that he's paired with Rory. I think there's kind of they're both gonna be wearing that red and black Tiger tribute. I mean, they have that Ryder Cup history. I just think Patrick Reed, of all the chasers, he kind of scares me the most. So I really like Patrick Reed on Sunday.
Yeah, I've been sort of on and off him, playing him little bits in showdowns. I'll definitely have a piece of him tomorrow. I don't know how heavy I'll get in because, like you said, there's a lot of. I don't think so. One of the big things for me, just as an overall strategy tomorrow, I don't think I'm going to go as low as I normally do, potentially down the salary scale. So I have to essentially go balanced and then like take shots with these guys in the low 9s. And so I'll definitely have a piece of him. I just don't know how much.
Yeah.
My next one here, or my first one here, I guess I should say. Someone was mentioning him in the chat, Burrow. I think Viktor Hovland's going to keep fighting too. I got him as my first choice. 8,900. He's gone 71, 69, 66, minus 10, an eagle, 16 birdies, 4 bogeys, and that 1 quadruple bogey. So, I mean, you can get a good idea of how his week has gone just by having a little look at his strokes gained there. He's absolutely killing it in everything except there's this one horrendous episode around the green on 1 hole, which without that it would be a fairly normal around the green week. But to me, the reason that I am playing Hovland, and if you're not paying attention, it's pretty clear his ball striking is just in an absolutely dominant position. It's scary good. I had mentioned I had him as showdown play already this week in round 2. That was the day that he went and shot a quad.
But man, that would have been a crazy score if he just parred.
He just parred.
Just had a par.
But
crazy round.
The thing to me, what I was talking about then was his off the tee and how he was on some crazy streak where he had, I think a single negative in 25 rounds. I don't remember the exact numbers, but what I'm looking at for all of my picks today is strokes gained approach. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So if you look at Hovland, he's absolutely killing it this week. But 9 of his last 10 rounds, he's gained over a stroke on approach. So it's not just like, he's slightly positive. It's like that's essentially like you're beating the field by a good chunk when you're gaining a full stroke on them there. Over the course of 2 years, so 2 years coming into this tournament for the players in the field, he's ranked 7th on approach, gaining 0.75. To me, I just think, his off the tee game is good, as I argued before. I think his approach game is awesome. I think he's going to go out there and pour in a ton of birdies. It's just a matter of, can he avoid making a big ugly number? And I'm going to take the chances that he does.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the question with all of them. I was kind of telling you before, looking at the leaderboard, I think the kind of common theme that I've seen is you need to be an accurate driver of the ball. And if not season long, at least for the tournament. So Rory driving the ball accurately, because anyone can make a big number on any one of these holes. So it's impossible to know when a blow up is coming. But Hovland is interesting. I can't really get it. Bryson is right above him, and he's kind of sticking out to me as a good pivot. Hovland, I think, is the more obvious choice. I'm going to be cheering for Hovland regardless if he makes my lineups tomorrow. But I just don't know. I feel like his ownership will get there, and there's no reason not to be accuracy. No, I'm not really concerned about that.
I was going to say, because he had a quadruple bogey last hole on Friday, came out 14 of 14 fairways.
Hey,
Yeah.
not bad. I like that. So if this might be a teaser. Strokes gained approach. I'm guessing you must have a Sergio coming up, Greg.
We'll see. We'll see.
We will see. Okay, let's jump into my second one. Sungjae Im, 8,300. He's gone 68, 74, 69. He's 5 under right now. This is kind of the pivot I'm exactly looking for in the low eights. My next two are the pivots that I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. He's been really good with his putter. He's been really good off the tee, and he's lost 3.4 strokes on approach. He's 62nd there. Around the green, he's been, he's not the best around the green player. He's not the best scrambler. So that's kind of where I would expect him to be. That can go so high or so low depending on the round. But for 18 holes, I can take a chance with the guy that's not the best scrambler. I think Sungjae has a pretty complete game, but for the season, he ranks 62nd in stroke gain approach in the entire PGA, so not just the field. He's plus 3.5 and 26 in greens and regulation at 71%. So I think his approach play, again, I'm looking at these guys, their weakness so far through 3 rounds, is it really a weakness, or are we just kind of seeing a weird kind of statistical anomaly? With Reed around the green with Sungjae on his approach. I think Sungjae can absolutely turn it around. I think he's a very sneaky play at 5 under. He can move up. He can backdoor into a top 10 easily. He was one of my picks outright. So, of course, I have a good stake in him, and I'm cheering for him. But I just think at 8,300, he's kind of a sneaky play with, guys in the top 10 right around him.
Yeah, I like all the points you're making. I think he's accurate off the tee, which is big out there. I just really struggle with Sungjae. Like I just find that when I'm like, okay, I'm going on Sungjae today, I just get it wrong. Like I was on him in round 2, plugged him into a few, and he sewered me, and then I just find he's a tough guy for me to figure out, and so I think likely I'll have a bit. He's in that range where I do really like a lot of guys there, so that'll be the one thing that potentially causes some problems. But yeah, we'll see. I haven't got my lineups made yet.
I think he's also. I didn't have the stats with me here, but I think he's also one of these guys that improve. Like he plays all the time. I don't think like he improves kind of as tournaments go along, and I think his round 4 scoring has been in the top 20 or 30 in the PGA kind of last.
I think this is exactly the type of guy too. That if you're making chalky plays, he's someone to have in there with your chalky plays, because if you look at the people around him, he's going to be lesser owned than people around him. So yeah. Okay, my next one, I am going Hideki Matsuyama, 8,200. He's gone 72, 66, 68. He is also minus 10. He's got an eagle, 19 birdies, 6 bogeys, 1 double, 1 triple. So he's had a pretty active week. His stats are a little bit bonkers. He's actually losing ball striking, mostly because of his off the tee. He's rinsed a few. Yeah. But the thing, like his around the green play is absurd, and his putting has been good. So yeah. The thing about Hideki for him, so first off, I think what's important is, he's done well. He's made 6 birdies at least every round. So to me,
crazy.
It's kind of like he throws enough daggers out there next to these pins that he's going to get some birdies along the way. Going back to my strokes gain approach being the important thing that I really want, and this is where I think a lot of his birdies come from, but he is 5th in this field in strokes gain approach over the last 2 full years. He's gaining 0.77 on average. To me, I think like at minus 10, you would think Hideki's going to attract a ton of ownership, but I think there's still a bit of a skepticism and a reluctance to trust Hideki. So when I'm doing 20 lineups, I don't mind throwing a few at him. When people, if people are playing in the same contest and they're not max entering, I don't know if I was doing a single entry, I don't know if I'd trust it with Hideki. So to me, it's just, I'm going to take some shots with it because if it doesn't work out, like it's the upside that I'm looking for. So yeah.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get there with Hideki. I think I saw a stat after the completion of this round where he's the only player, I think, in the tournament to not have a 3-putt, which is crazy for Hideki. Like, I cannot believe he hasn't had a 3-putt. He can 3-putt from 10. I think he 3-putted from 10 feet at Pebble, at Torrey or wherever they were.
Yeah.
So that definitely scares me. Yeah, I mean, throw him in the same bucket as Sergio. Maybe I would take Sergio. I don't know. I don't. I like Sungjae in the exact same price range, so I'd probably go Sungjae. Depends on how many lineups I build for tomorrow. I don't know.
See, I think I would say if you're comparing the two, I'd say Hideki has more upside. Like I think he's more volatile than Sungjae, but potentially, you know.
Oh yes, sorry, I thought you meant Sergio. I'm like, man, they're both kind of crazy volatile.
No, so like I think Sungjae would be the less volatile, but probably a better floor. Whereas Hideki, we don't know what we're gonna get.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. My third and final one. I'm not going that low. I'm going with what I liked so far was a balanced lineup. I love Tyrrell Hatton at 8,000. He's gone 70, 73, 70, -3. Not that great. You know, he's only -3, but he has 13 birdies, 6 bogeys, 2 doubles. This is kind of the exact play that we talk about for round 4 showdowns where these guys get priced down. He's ranked 21st in DraftKings salary for showdown tomorrow. He's the 5th ranked player in the field. And he's only tied for 28th. Like, he's not like he's gone out there and gone completely bonkers. He just blows up on a hole around the green every single round. So if he can not do that, he can absolutely have one of the best rounds tomorrow at, I think pretty minimal ownership. He's right around Oosthuizen, Zalatoris, Abraham Answer, and Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler, I think, might be one of the chalkiest plays tomorrow. But what has Hatton done? So he's getting strokes putting. Love that. Around the green, horrible. -5 strokes. Approach. I love that. That's the kind of player he is. He's getting 3 strokes, at least 1 per round. He's 12th there. I think he was one of the best on approach today. I'd have to double check that.
You want to know for over the last 2 years how he has been on approach?
He's up there. I'm sure
he's 4th.
He's 4th.
Yeah.
He's one of the best approach players out there. So again, the weakness that we've seen from him around the greens, he's 71st in the field. How has he been like that recently? He's actually gained around the green in 8 of his 12 rounds to start 2021 prior to this tournament. So that's the European Tour. So I think that again is like, that just stands out. We saw him, I think, on Friday hit the same chip 3 times because I think it was on 13. You know, you get it up, it comes right back down. Right back down. So he's done that a couple times. And I think if he can eliminate that, he can absolutely go low tomorrow. Craig, he's played 4 round 4s this season on the PGA. He's gone 65, 65, 65, 66. His scoring average in round 4s are absolutely 65.25.
That's not bad.
It's crazy. So again, one of these guys that just like these top players in the world, you give them enough rounds, they're going to rise to the top. This is absolutely a guy that can sneak in the top 15, sneak in the top 10 at pretty minimal ownership, I think, because no one trusts Hatton right now.
Yeah, I had him in round 2. I played him in round 3. I'm going to go back to him again in round 4. This is one of these ones where I think people look too far into finish position and how someone has played thus far in the tournament, and they overlook the fact that you're getting Tyrrell Hatton for 8,000 and just what the upside that goes along with that. So to me, it's a bit of a no-brainer. The one thing that, and I'll get into it because my last pick's also in this range, but you had mentioned how there's a whole bunch of guys in that range, and I think the one thing that we should qualify, I am also going to play a bunch of those other guys in that range, you know. So it's not like I'm playing Hatton over all of those guys. Like Scotty Scheffler, for instance, he's going to be chalky, but I'm gonna plug him in because I think he still has upside. And so we're not necessarily saying to fade all those guys, but.
Yeah, no, I think basically the theory of the 3-round sample over here compared to his career, where we have so much data, eventually it's going to equal out more to his career, right? So this 3 rounds, people put way much too stock into it, the general public, I think. But we know his career. He's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah. So, yes, like I was saying, someone else in that range, I'm going back to my boy, Will Zalatoris, 7,900. He's gone 72, 69, 68. He's -7, 11 birdies, 4 bogeys. Most importantly, he's looking pretty comfy to lock up that bet that we have on the week. So, maybe this is just like a bit of a tribute. I just wanted to like pay appreciation towards what he has done for me this week already. No, I am seriously going to be plugging him in very heavily in showdowns. You look at what he's done this week. Ball striking, as always, is good. He's killing it on approach. Around the green's been good. His putter's been a struggle. I don't necessarily think that's going to change. Like, I'm not counting on that changing. Oftentimes we're saying these guys are good tee to green and their putter's been
Yeah.
bad, so it's going to regret. He could have a bad putting day and still score well. He went out there. He didn't have a single bogey today, but he lost strokes putting. So to me, I don't think his putter is in a very good place right now, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. So you had mentioned the guys around that range. I do think there's going to be heavy ownership in this range. I think say you're looking to plug one person in and you have chalky plays elsewhere, that's where I would look at Zalatoris over Oosthuizen, Answer, Scheffler. So we've got Oost at -9. He's 7,900. We've got Answer and Scheffler are both 7,800.
Yeah.
And they're -9 and -10 respectively. So I think those will, just the pure number and the fact that there's finish position to go along with, there's points that goes along with finish position. I think people will go away from Zalatoris towards those other plays. So I just think it's a good soft pivot play. I'm going to be plugging him into lineups with those other guys as well.
Yeah.
But I like Zalatoris like I always do. And I think there's some good game theory aspects to it for this Sunday's round.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I would say this, but I really like the Zalatoris play tomorrow as well. Everything I've seen, I like. Maybe it's hedging that 6-pack bet I have with Rose, where there's no shot with Rose. But yeah, Zalatoris. I mean, the more I see of it, the more I am coming around to your idea that he has such a complete game. And he can score with the best of them.
Well, and that's the thing that stands out to me is that like so, and the point that I have here that I forgot to make, two full years, where does he rank on the strokes gain approach? He's third behind Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa. So like, and this is what I was saying at the start of the week, that he does things well that star players do well. And that's really like what it comes down to.
Yeah. There's a couple things in the chat that I want to talk about, and a couple kind of things just looking at the salaries for tomorrow. The first one is I think just in general, I think people are going to go more balanced. So if you want to be contrarian, you do get someone high up. I mean, I'd have to take a look up there. A Finau or a JT or a Rory or a DJ. I think those guys will actually go lower own than they typically do, because people will go from. I don't know about Rory, but I think people would go from like Brooks, Morikawa, like fit in all those guys to Scheffler at 78, and they go from high 9 to 78. And a lot of lines are going to be like that. So if you want to be different, that's one way. I think there's a good question from Myron Cake.
Just real quick, My Tai Panda, Billy is going to steal the show. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Like, I think Billy Horschel is flying under the radar with all the big names on the leaderboard. I'm feeling pretty happy about him as a sleeper pick. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to get to him as a showdown play, just because ownership has rushed so far there. But yeah, I would love it if he came out there and won the thing tomorrow.
Myron has a question. So do you think you have to roster the eventual winner to take down the showdown GPP? Do you want to start with that? Do you want me to?
I mean, I think it totally depends. So say Morikawa goes out there and shoots
200.
Yeah, 70 and wins it. No, I don't think you need to have him. I think that oftentimes
and ultimately you shouldn't. Like, he won't be in the optimal lineup.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So like, I think it just totally depends on how the round goes and everything. But I more just think, where do I think there's going to be value? And then the other thing I think that's important to do on Sundays is to sort of build a narrative. Like if you're gonna have Morikawa and Brooks and Billy Horschel and Usti and like, okay, so who, like, are all these guys going to go out there and shoot 5 under? Yeah. So like, maybe you choose 2 or 3 guys, and then you try to find a few really low owned guys, and then those 3 guys are going to be 1, 2, 3 at the end of the day. But you can't just sort of chunk in what's the most points. Like, the other thing I love is you'll see at the start of the day on Sundays, some people will just like max out how many finishing points they possibly can. And you're like, well, like, it's not just going to stay the same. Like, this leaderboard's changed every day so far. But yeah,
But if the winner comes from the 11 group or the 10 group,
yeah, then for
absolutely
sure
they're going
they'll
to be in
be
the
in the
optimal
optimal
lineup
line. Yeah,
because they had to go 500 or 600 to win.
yeah.
And I think a lot of those guys have that capability. The Rorys, the Reeds. I mean, Webb. Don't sleep on Webb. Like, of course he can go
And
under it.
we talk about staying away from the chalk, but I don't think you totally avoid chalk. I think it'd be a bad idea to
No, no,
go
no,
to
no.
totally
Yeah,
avoid chalk on Sundays, especially because
yeah,
you do like it's going to be some of that chalk you play is going to be in the best lineups. It's just a matter of like
yeah,
what do you combine it with.
yeah. Exactly.
Uh,
Um, do you want to talk about your pick and winning score, or possibly how low you'll go? Because I think I mean, I haven't built my lineups yet, but looking at the players here, I don't think I'm going to go in the sixes. I don't know if you are or not, but I don't think I have a
Breck
really a
Knuckles is
reason to.
just dropping Hideki info on us. Sorry, I'm just lost in the brilliance of Hideki's three putt
Putting?
streak. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. He said in the chat 185 holes after today without a three putt.
Yeah.
Hideki.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Uh,
How
I don't
low?
think I'm gonna. I don't like if I build three lineups. I don't think I'm gonna go in the sixes at all. I feel like I don't have to. I think I can be different elsewhere.
I haven't looked at like who's there. There might be plays. It depends on who's like high sixes versus low sevens. There's some guys that I have liked down there during the week, but I think they're probably the ones that I like have moved up into the sevens for the most part at this point.
Yeah.
Final score. Who's the winner? Let's jump.
Do you want you go first?
I'll go first. I say that. Let me think here.
Well, if you're gonna take
Oh
this
yeah, sorry.
long,
If
I
you're ready to
wouldn't.
go, I got to think for a sec. So.
Um, I I mean, there's two sticking out in my head, but I'm gonna go with the guy up top. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Morikawa. Let's go Morikawa at 18 under. If he gets to 18 under, I think he's super hard to catch. I think 18 under. I think he can get 18 under with a pretty up and down round.
Okay, I'm just gonna go throw something out there with my heart, and I'm gonna say
Or
Rory McIlroy at 18. Nah, 9. Nah, let's say I don't think he gets to 8. I think he gets 7 under, 18 under on the tournament. Morikawa shoots a 70 and comes up short. Um, yeah, let's go Rory. I haven't seen him this high on a leaderboard going into a Sunday in a while, so maybe it's just what I want in my heart.
hey man, it's just a prediction, and we're not
Although
holding you to
I
it or
do
anything.
also feel like my one and done Viktor Hovland moving up the board wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah, no kidding. You guys, I mean, I'm going to be cheering for Hovland. Like I said, he's had such a up and down tournament. I think he's carried himself super well. I wouldn't be surprised. Steven said it below Kepka. If he, I mean, he had this whole sore neck thing. I think he still finished, what was 3 under today or
Before my heart took over and told me to pick Rory, Brooks is the one I was thinking.
yeah. I mean,
He had
two
a
under
gritty
today.
round today because he was not playing well through most of what I saw, and then I don't know. I
Yeah,
was listening on the radio for most of the back nine, but how he
yeah.
got back to what 2 under on the day, I don't know. But that's a gritty round from him.
He's just solid, and he can put the lights out when he's in contention. But it's a stacked leaderboard. It's gonna be
Yeah.
good. Anything to add here, Craig, for DFS or anything else?
No, I think there's a few deeper takes on what's happened so far and what's going to potentially happen tomorrow, but I think we'll get into that on the podcast. So
Yeah,
if you guys aren't already, I mean, we do put that out through YouTube, but if you just listen to podcasts, go check that out on Spotify,
yeah,
Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. But if there's nothing else, let's call her.
yeah. Join us in the Discord if you have any other questions. I mean, we're going to be there probably not before the round tomorrow because we're on the West Coast, but tonight a little bit. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you for joining us live. Thank you for watching the video later. Good luck on Sunday, everyone. It should be a great round no matter what happens. But let's find some green. Let's take down a GPP tomorrow.
Yeah, good luck, guys. See you guys next time.